Hey, what's up, Serpentine here, taking a look at the single-player roguelite RPG Overfall, developed by Pera Games, their very first officially released title. After exiting a portal back to your homeland, you are greeted by an old wizard that informs you that many years have passed since you had entered it. Meanwhile, the world as you know it has changed, and a great conflict is currently simmering to the surface. Being the adventuring heroes you are, you take it upon yourselves to try and resolve this conflict with politics and war between the races of the world. Starting off with 2 characters and a ship, you'll begin travelling between small islands, meeting and greeting the local inhabitants. Helping out these people is beneficial to you in multiple ways. The largest impact is on the race reputation meter, that if you're successful in helping out someone, will increase your reputation within their race. Your reputation with each race will affect whether or not they're aggressive towards you, but more importantly, whether or not they'll support you in the fight against the Vern, an extremely aggressive people that begun spewing forth from the portal that you entered all those years ago. Secondary rewards from successfully completing a character's mission are various amounts of the game's 4 different currencies, including frag, which acts like coins, spice that is used to magically increase your ship's speed, best used for getting away from some of the Vern's faster ships later on in the game, ruins that are used to purchase additional characters for your group, of which you can have a total of 4, and finally food that is used to heal damaged characters. Lastly, there is quite a lot of unlockable content like alternate characters, weapons, abilities and trinkets that you can collect via certain missions throughout the game, unlocking them permanently for use in later attempts. The actual missions are a mix of dialogue puzzles and turn-based combat. However, you will probably be trying your hardest not to actually engage in combat, as it really is an unnecessary risk that can end your current playthrough quite easily. Not to mention, the attrition of battle will slowly eat away at your resources. Sometimes you won't have an option though, landing on a new island and instantly getting into a 4v2 fight. That's most likely not going to go your way. The dialogue puzzles are based around your responses, with each character in your party having different responses to the situation, as well as some characters having attributes that can give you golden dialogue options, which are usually the optimal choice at solving the problem. Many of the missions already in the game are extremely heavy with pop culture references too, reworked into the fantasy setting. So far I've seen things like Team Rocket from Pokemon, and arguments about the integrity of making magical music, just to name a couple. While most of the quests are short, there are a couple that can have multiple fight sequences in them, and others that can have you travelling between islands to complete it. The combat side of missions can for the most part be avoided, but in the certain circumstances where it's unavoidable or perhaps you do actually want to fight, it's a pretty robust system. Each character will have 3 phases to their turn: the movement phase, the ability phase, and the attack phase. The game has the typical RPG classes in it, so abilities are what you would expect, with a cleric being able to heal, and a mage throwing out AoE damaging spells. You'll have 3 abilities and 3 attacks to choose from, with some of the more powerful ones having longer cooldowns. The key to combat in Overfall though is to manage you and your enemies' buffs and debuffs, as they can quickly stack up and become unmanageable, able to almost completely cripple you or your enemies' characters, while buff characters will start dealing crazy amounts of damage and not take much damage at all. If all of your characters die, that's it, that's the end of your run, and you have to start right from the beginning again, the main reason why combat is best avoided. Combat, however, is also one of the key ways you earn additional attributes for your characters, like pushing back all characters around yours at the end of the turn, or damage bonuses for certain types of enemies. Not all attribute bonuses are good though, with health reduction and damage reduction attributes being obtainable during a fight that goes a little bit south. The missions do repeat themselves, as you would expect playing the game over and over. However, Overfall is doing something really cool about this, opening the game's mission system up to Steam's workshop, allowing for user-generated content for the game and an almost unlimited supply of new stories, combat scenarios and missions for the game, all of which can be created inside of the actual game. The story editor works like a tree graph with different choices leading to different outcomes, and once you're done with your very own mission, you can publish it to the workshop straight from the game too. Travelling between the islands, you'll come across various kinds of ships travelling between them. You can hail these other ships, and depending on their affiliation, it can result in either a fight, trade, or just general information about the surrounding area. Depending on your chosen starter heroes, you can also board guild ships that can enhance your hero's abilities in exchange for some frags. There are also islands that offer other things than missions, like taverns where you can gamble and buy food, or bazaars where you can trade and upgrade your characters with bonus attributes, and finally there are race home islands, which you won't be welcome to unless you have high reputation with them. Landing on the various homelands will begin story quests related to the particular race that goes in depth with the race's backstory and can lead you on epic adventures. All the time you are traveling, completing missions and fighting, you'll be working against the clock as the Vern builds up their armada and steadily increases their war efforts, which is indicated by the bar just below all the race reputation bars on the left. The first sign of Vern movement is when they get their shipyard up and running and begin pillaging the local islands. They'll eventually build up massive warships and become more difficult to deal with out on the open seas, as they'll chase you down if you come too close. Altogether, Overfall is a really fantastic roguelite that even without the user-generated content has a bunch of new things to discover and unlock with each new playthrough. The mission stories are interesting and play with some pop culture references retold for a fantasy setting, and the combat is adequately difficult, making you have second thoughts even if it isn't even fine. If you like roguelites with a solid combination of story-based and combat-based missions, then Overfall is definitely worth a look. If you're more interested in a loot and upgrade-driven roguelite, Overfall doesn't really offer that kind of experience. Anyway, that's been my player preview for Overfall. The game is currently available via Steam's Early Access for $9.99 or your regional equivalent. If you want to find out more about the game, check out the links below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.